how to set the value for KPIs. We talked a lot about the definition and type of KPIs you should use. Now let's give some attention to how to set the value for KPIs. So there are basically 4 ways to do that. So first of all, you can look at the plan and then divide it somehow. And on the basis of that, define the KPI value for a specific person, team, or business unit. Obviously, you can look also at the historical data, add some growth assumed, and on the basis of that, create the value of the KPIs. And finally, you can use either internal or external benchmarks. Obviously, usually you mix the methods. So for example, you can use planned and historical data or internal and external benchmarks. Now let's have a look at some examples that will show you how to use it in practice. So imagine that you are working for a retailer that wants to set the value of new openings of stores, which is an important KPI for the development department, which has to find the locations and construct the stores. So we've got the total revenues from the new stores, which is a plan. And then we know the average sales per one store, which is a historical data or assumption. Now, if we divide one by the other one, we actually get the number of new stores to be opened. So if we want to have a 200 million and one store sells roughly 2 million, it means that we have to open in a given year 100 stores. And this would be the KPI for the development manager working for the retailer. Now let's have a look at another example for a retailer. So imagine that you want to estimate this year sales. So you would use for that the last year's sales, which is historical data, some assumed growth of the market, which is forecast or plan, then assumed cannibalization, and also some like-for-like growth, which will be a plan. And on the basis of that, you'd get the number we have to achieve this year. Now let's move to third example where we would look how you can use internal benchmarks. So imagine that you're working for a B2B company which uses sales reps and has the following results. So they have 4 sales reps and here we've got the results, so how much they sell per person. And what we want to do is obviously set goals for the new year. So we would use as a point of reference the best sales rep, which is generating 160,000 sales per year. And obviously on the basis that you could set the goals for the rest. Let's assume that we will set the target to be 10,000 lower than the highest sales, which is the mic. So we would have something like that. So for the mic would be 160, so what he has now, and for the rest would be 150. So we got the value of the KPIs by looking at the best and then somehow deducting from that some safety level. And now let's have a look at another example of using internal benchmarks. In this case, we will be looking at the head office cost. So since we are not able to estimate directly the efficiency of the head office, we would look at the sales per one person. And here we have it for many companies. Our company is here. As you can see, for some companies it's higher, for some companies it's lower. Now, what we would do is set certain targets. So one target could be, for example, to reach at least the average level, which is 2,011,000. Or we can say, let's say that we could reach 80% of the best result, which would be 2,400. And this would be the target for the board of directors to reach at least this level or that level. So as you can see, if you have data, you can set the value for the KPIs using those 4 methods. So either plan or historical data or benchmarks, external and internal.